Hello, good evening. Welcome to the Concord Township Board of Trustees meeting for January 4th, 2023. Would you please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Mr. Technip, can you please call roll?
Yes. Mr. Morgan McIntosh?
Present.
Mr. Carl Dondorfer?
Present.
Mrs. Amy Lucci?
Present. Thank you. So we are going to move into the organizational meeting portion of the meeting. I designate Mr. Technip as chairperson pro tem. Chairpersonship of the organizational meeting is turned over to Mr. Technip for the purpose of electing a chairperson, vice chairperson, and fiscal officer pro tempore.
Nominations are now open for the position of chairperson for the year 2023.
I nominate Mr. McIntosh as chairperson of the Township Board of Trustees for the year 2023.
And I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Nominations are now open for the position of vice chairperson for the year 2023.
I nominate Mr. Dondorfer as vice chairperson of the Township Board of Trustees for the year 2023.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Nominations are now open for the position of fiscal officer pro tempore for the year 2023.
I nominate Mrs. Lucci as fiscal officer pro tempore for the year 2023.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Mr. McIntosh assumes the position of chairperson, Mr. Dondorfer assumes the position of vice chairperson, and Mrs. Lucci assumes the position of fiscal officer pro tempore, and Mr. Technip as fiscal officer.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Moving on with the organizational meeting, we will set the date and time for the meetings of 2023, which will be held on the first and third Wednesdays of each month at 7:30 p.m. in the Town Hall meeting room, and office hours will precede the trustee meeting at 6:30, between 6:30 and 7:30 in the Town Hall conference room. Staff meetings are set for the Friday preceding the trustee meeting of each month at 9 a.m. in Town Hall unless otherwise noted. Please see the meeting schedule for this year. We do actually have a couple shifts. The appropriations workshop will be announced at a later date, and all special meetings will be announced at least 24 hours in advance and posted on our website and emailed to local newspapers, including the News Herald, the Plain Dealer, and the Lake County Tribune. Do I have a motion?
I so move.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We will now make department assignments for each trustee. Do I have a motion for those assignments, please?
I move that we make the department assignments for each trustee as follows. For fire, Mr. Dondorfer. For service, Mr. McIntosh. And for zoning, recreation, and administration, Mrs. Lucci.
And I will second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We will now appoint township department directors. Do I have a motion?
I move we approve the following township department directors. Legal counsel, Michael Lucas. Cemetery sexton, Karen Warner. Service department director, Tim Brown. Recreation director, Sean Suppler. Planning and zoning director, zoning inspector, Heather Freeman. And secretary to Board of Zoning Appeals and Zoning Commission, Heather Freeman.
You need fire
I
chief.
think we missed fire chief, yeah.
Fire Chief Matt Sable. I'm sorry, it was on the list and I just skipped over it just because you're one of my favorites. Sorry.
Nice
I
recovery.
apologize.
Yeah, he's the leader of your
I thought it was
crew, and he
without.
forgot ya.
We didn't need to say anything without question.
And I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And now we'll establish the legal holidays for the year. If a holiday falls on a Saturday, it is observed on the preceding Friday. On Sunday, it is observed on the following Monday. And do I have a motion for the holiday schedule for 23?
I move we establish the legal holidays for 2023 as follows. January 2nd, New Year's Day. January 16th, Martin Luther King Jr. Day. February 20th, President's Day. May 29th, Memorial Day. June 19th, Juneteenth Day. July 3rd is the trustee designated holiday. July 4th, Independence Day. September 4th, Labor Day. October 9th, Columbus Day. November 10th, Veterans Day. November 23rd, Thanksgiving. November 24th, the day after Thanksgiving. December 25th, Christmas Day.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And we will now establish the 2023 holiday for the fire department personnel. Can I have a motion for that, please?
I move we establish the 2023 holidays for fire department firefighting personnel as follows. January 1st, New Year's Day. April 9th, Easter Sunday. May 29th, Memorial Day. June 19th, Juneteenth Day. July 4th, Independence Day. September 4th, Labor Day. November 23rd, Thanksgiving Day. And December 25th, Christmas Day.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We need to establish the mileage rate for, can I have a motion?
I move that we establish the 2023 mileage rate reimbursements per IRS guidelines.
And I will second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
The temporary appropriations for 2023 were passed at the regular meeting on December 21st of 2022 over Resolution 2022-32. I made a motion to approve the rates as discussed. Mr. Dondorfer seconded. Roll call vote. Mr. McIntosh, yes. Mr. Dondorfer, yes. Mrs. Lucci, yes. 3 ayes. Do I have a motion to appoint 2 board members to the Volunteer Firefighter Dependents Fund Board?
I make a motion to elect Mrs. Lucci to the VFFDF Board to serve a 1-year term commencing on 1/1/2023.
I second. And all in favor?
Aye.
I make a motion to elect Carl Dondorfer to the Volunteer Firefighters Dependents Fund Board to serve a 1-year term commencing 1/1/2023.
And I second. All in favor?
Aye.
This concludes the organizational portion of the regular trustee meeting. We will move into our regular meeting agenda. Thank you. And with that, we're looking for a motion to approve the December 21st meeting minutes.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the December 21st, 2022 regular trustees meeting minutes.
And I will second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, elected officials reports. Fiscal Officer, Mr. Jim Technic.
Thank you, Mr. McIntosh, and Happy New Year to everybody in the audience and on TV land too. So, Happy New Year. The month of December has been closed. All the fund balances remain favorable. My staff and I are very busy trying to get the final closing of the year for 2022 and updating all the payroll records. I ask that the trustees please approve the 2023 super blanket purchase orders that's found on the agenda this evening. And I continue to meet with the chiefs and the department heads to review their budget request. And this concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Technic. Mrs. Lucci.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Not a whole lot to report. Happy New Year, everybody. I think everybody was pretty quiet and busy with their family. I did get a few calls, compliments regarding the great road service that the service department took care of with that brutal storm that we got on Christmas. So other than that, a few other questions regarding the ice cream store, which hopefully will be coming next year. We did have a staff meeting last week, and other than that, I hope everyone is looking forward to a great 2023. Bring on spring, and that concludes my report.
Already with the spring. Mr. Dondorfer.
Thank you, Mr. McIntosh. I would also like to wish everybody a Happy New Year. It's a good month to reset and get some energy. And as you enter into 2023, we wish you all the best this year. I did have a couple questions, nothing real major. Since the last meeting, I did have a question from a resident about a zoning violation in which the township had taken some enforcement action on, and we're going to continue to monitor that for any future violations. Did have another question about some water drainage as a potential hazard in the northwest quadrant of Concord Township that I spoke with Tim Brown, our service director, on. I would also like to welcome our new rec director, Sean Suppler, who's here tonight. So welcome, Sean, and we look forward to you taking over the rec department and doing a good job in there, and look forward to working with you. And other than that,
Good. Thank you. Well, again, Happy New Year to everybody. Yes, it's been kind of a quiet few weeks. We wrapped up the staff meeting last week, and I haven't heard a lot. Actually didn't get a lot of complaints or questions or concerns about plowing. I was fortunate to miss the storm. I went south. It wasn't warm where I was, but I didn't have snow. Or at least blowing snow. I don't mind snow. I just don't like the wind. But got a couple meetings coming up this week. Actually, tomorrow I'm going to meet with Jim and go over a few things. And then we've got Administrator Rose, myself, and the fire department and team have a project meeting with respect to the fire station. So other than that, pretty quiet so far. I'd also like to welcome Sean here tonight, and we'll see him shortly for his first report. And with that, we will move into department reports, starting off with Administrator Andy Rose.
Thank you, Mr. McIntosh, members of the board, Mr. Technip, members of the audience, good evening. Welcome to 2023. Just one quick item. I will be meeting with Wendy Zealy this Friday. She is the governmental affairs representative from First Energy. We meet every January just to talk about any potential problem areas. There's one spot that keeps having power blips, so she's going to be bringing me some reports, try to figure out how we can work through that. And then we'll be talking about reviewing some energy requirements. There's some upcoming economic development opportunities, and I just want to make sure that we're good with power and they're comfortable with our needs as we continue to work to grow the corridor with regards to economic development. It's likely at the next meeting we should have the paperwork to go out for bid for the joint road project that we do with Painesville Township. And we may have the paperwork ready to go out for bid for the sanitary sewer extension to connect the community center to the system, the Lake County Department of Utilities sanitary system, and then take the community center off of the septic system. The paperwork and the drawings and the plans have been approved by Lake County Department of Utilities. It's currently down with the State of Ohio EPA for the permit to install. I'm hoping to get that back before too long so that we can prep that for the next meeting. And then the only other thing I have is, it's great to have our recreation director Sean here. This is day 2, so crawl, walk, run, and I look forward to his innovative ideas and energy. So welcome.
Great.
And that concludes my report. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Rose. Fire Department, Chief Sabo.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, Chief.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity to continue as your fire chief.
Almost missed that
Barely.
one.
No, it was close. But you're in good hands, so it's good. For the month of December, we had a total of 278 events, bringing our total for 2022 to 3,004, setting another record, just like a lot of our neighboring departments. Compared to 2021, we were at 2,830, so about a 6-7% bump. Of those calls for December, 186 of them were EMS events with 146 transports. We had 92 non-EMS events, including 9 fire events, 2 of which were inside of Concord, including one residential structure fire and 1 oven fire, and 7 structure fires we assisted with outside of Concord. We gave mutual aid 20 times, received mutual aid 11 times, and had 84 overlapping calls for about 30%. So those are calls where we're dispatched to more than one event at a time. So we're handling multiples at one instance. Fire Prevention Bureau was out completing 53 total inspections, accounting for about 82 hours. They finished up 3 plan reviews, accounting for about 8 hours, and completed about 6 hours of continuing education. A lot of our firefighters and inspectors, we all have to do continuing education throughout the year. For our firefighter, our paramedic, our inspector, our instructor, all those things require a certain level of continuing education, so those take time too. The Fire Prevention Bureau assisted us with the one residential structure fire in Concord with the fire investigation, so we help thank them for that assistance. On the public education side, they took 2 days and trained 23 employees at Frontage Labs in CPR and first aid, so that was nice. And in light of, we already have a CPR class scheduled for March 2nd of 2023 at 5 o'clock at the community center. This is not for professional certification, so this is mostly bystander CPR training. And in light of that, we put a posting on our Facebook page, and I put it on Nextdoor to learn hands-only CPR. In light of the events of Damar Hamlin, CPR works, and you just never know when you're going to come across that situation where you're going to need to use it. So the more people that are prepared and ready and trained and ready to use it, the better off we all are. So with that, I think that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Thanks, Chief.
Service Department, Mr. Brown.
Good evening, everyone. The Service Department in the month of December responded to 10 snow and ice call-outs. We applied about 310 tons of salt. Crews also maintained equipment, installed snow barricades, and assisted the Recreation Department with their needs as far as the Christmas tree lighting and some of the decorations around Town Hall. The Service Department would like to remind residents when snow conditions exist on trash pickup days to place their trash bins at the end of their driveway aprons instead of in the roadway. The cans in the roadway make it difficult for the plow operator to remove the snow all the way to the curb, and it just makes it a little bit difficult. Takes us a little bit more time to get through the roads. When traveling during snow events, make sure to plan for extra time and allow space when approaching a plow truck for the operator can perform their plowing operation safely. We also remind motorists to slow down and move over for any vehicles in the roadway with flashing lights. We also like to remind our residents to contact the Service Department with any questions or concerns at 440-350-3225 or by email at concordtwp.com under Service Department. We hope all the residents have a safe and healthy 2023. And just to add a little something to Mr. Rose's, the joint road program, that is going to consist of us, Painesville Township, Lake County engineers, and Lake County commissioners this year. So that should get us some better price points as far as the project. It's a big, I think it's a $1.6 million project package. So.
Oh, great.
Okay, that concludes my report.
Thank you. Thanks. Zoning Department, Ms. Heather Freeman.
Good evening.
Good
Happy New Year.
evening.
So last month, the zoning department staff processed 13 zoning permit applications, bringing the year-to-date total up to 401. For the year 2022, zoning permits issued by type breaks down as follows. Fences accounted for 20% of all the zoning permits. Accessory buildings were 17%. Single-family dwellings was also 17%. Decks made up 14%. Swimming pools, both in-ground and above ground, accounted for 11% of the zoning permits we approved. And with the remaining permits being for various items such as signs, additions to residential homes, some commercial uses, and other dwelling types. In December, we approved 7 new dwelling units, bringing the year-to-date total up to 113 new units. Most of these new homes were constructed within the new phases of Stone Ridge Estates off of Girdled and Joanne, the Hillshire Woods condominium development off of Spear Road, and the new Eagle Point subdivision off of Colburn Road. 2022 also brought a lot of new commercial investment in the township. Just wanted to highlight a few, which includes 2 new medical office buildings over on Auburn Road that are almost finished, a new manufacturing business that's being constructed currently on Discovery Lane, and then also another new manufacturing business over on Wellness Way that took over a vacant building. So thank you, and I'm looking forward to serving the Concord Township community in 2023. So,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome.
And Rec Department. Mr. Sean Supler. Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Good evening and Happy New Year to everyone. I just want to start off by saying thank you first to Mr. Rose and Cindy for giving me the initial opportunity, and then obviously the 3 trustees for giving me this great opportunity to be the rec director here in Concord. Obviously, I've only been on the job for 2 days, but it's been a really great 2 days, and really looking forward to meeting with everyone and getting to know everyone more, and continuing to grow here. So, thank you to everyone here so far. In terms of my report, I had a couple of my employees just write up a couple notes from December, because obviously I was not here, so I'm going to read that for you guys here. What a wonderful December for recreation. Our 55-plus group enjoyed Christmas bingo on December 7th and the annual holiday luncheon on the 14th. Both events were at capacity, and the Ellison room was filled with laughter and happiness. Our letters to Santa with Mrs. Claus event was a success on December 10th. We had great participation in our annual Light Up Concord competition, and we are currently off to a very busy start in 2023. Obviously, with the addition of myself, we are kind of hitting the ground running and getting everything ready for the summer months, mainly right now, since I believe Mr. Rose was able to get the grapevine finished for me, and he has bestowed that upon me, so I thank him very much for that. The January senior events include bracelet making craft on January 11th. January 18th is a soup demonstration, and then we have our monthly bingo on the 25th of January. Some other January classes, there's martial arts, which always seem to be happening in the community center. Children's dance classes, yoga classes, a newly added prenatal yoga class, and then a few other making lip balms and other certain things like that. And then our normal groups, Mahjong and art clubs and pinochle and all that kind of stuff. And if anyone is interested or needing more information on those, you can contact the Recreation Department at 440-639-4650. And then the community room is rented on all weekends through February as of right now. Wow. So that is great. Yeah. I'm just trying to get my head down and, figure out how the rec department worked before and how I'm going to, transform that a little bit. So we will be working on right now. I'm working on a lot of the concert series. That's kind of like the first task at hand, to try and get all the bands secured for that. So I need to meet with Jim soon about, budgeting and all that kind of stuff. And then the community days. So I know we need to discuss the actual dates for that, which I'll present what I've talked to our group about, my employees about. So we will talk about that and get that secured. So outside of that, that's my first report here. Looking forward to many more of those. So thank you all very much again.
Nice job.
Thank you. Nice job.
And Concord Law Enforcement, Sergeant Falvey.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Happy New Year.
For the month of December, the Sheriff's Office responded to 983 calls for service, 2 of those being, but not limited to, 2 injury accidents, 11 property damage accidents, an adult female arrest for disorderly conduct, an adult female for OVI that was incorporated with a motor vehicle accident, 2 adult males for possession of drugs, and a juvenile male for domestic violence. 52 alarms, 10 traffic violation citations, 43 warnings for traffic violations, and one of the other, 2 of the other bigger numbers, suspicious circumstances, vehicles, and persons, 31 and 18 welfare checks. We had a stolen vehicle on the 9th of December at Ridge Glen Condominiums. We were able to track the vehicle through Flock in Cleveland, and then we were able to secure the vehicle in Streetsboro. It was processed for DNA and other evidence techniques, and those are at the crime lab right now. When we did locate it and deputies responded out to Streetsboro, actually, we left here to go to Streetsboro. It was unoccupied, but it was warm, so it was recently just dropped off at its dropping point. We had a dumping situation at the water plant down the road here. We were able to determine the suspect in this and have a probable cause warrant out for them. This was pertaining to a remodeling project at an area business. The contractor that they had was illegally dumping at the property site. So kudos to the deputy who was able to track all that stuff down. Then we had one theft of prescription drugs from a vehicle on Morley Road. That was processed and sent to the crime lab. Other than that, we are sitting pretty with law enforcement in the township, if anybody has any questions or concerns. Oh, and if you do have any questions or concerns, you can about law enforcement or about safety concerns, feel free to call me at my office, 440-350-5598.
Thank you, Sergeant.
Thanks, Sarge.
All right, moving on to the audience portion. Anybody in the audience? Didn't think so. Old business, none. Moving on to new business.
Mr. Chairman, I will make a motion to approve the December financial report.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the super blanket certificates number 1 through number 107, effective 1/1/2023.
I will second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And then I will read the items voted on at the December 28th, 2022 staff meeting. Entered into executive session for the purpose of discussing employee compensation for 2023 pursuant to Ohio Revised Code 121-22G1 at 9:39 a.m. Mr. Dondorfer moved into executive session for the purpose, discussing employee compensation pursuant to the Ohio Revised Code. And Mr. McIntosh seconded. Roll call vote. Mr. McIntosh, yes. Mr. Dondorfer, yes. Ms. Lucci, yes. 3 ayes. At 10:07, Mr. Dondorfer moved to exit out of executive session. Mr. McIntosh seconded. 3 ayes. And approval of 2023 salaries. Mr. McIntosh approved the 2023 salaries. Mr. Dondorfer seconded. Roll call vote. Mr. McIntosh, yes. Mr. Dondorfer, yes. Ms. Lucci, yes. 3 ayes. And with that, Mr. Technip, would you please read the future meetings and announcements?
Yes. On January 11th at 7 p.m., there will be a Town Hall BZA meeting. On January 16th, the Town Hall in this township will be closed in observance of Martin Luther King Jr. Day. And January 18th, we will have our from 6:30 to 7:30 p.m. trustees office hours in the conference room. And at 7:30, the same day, trustee meeting will be at Town Hall.
Thank you. Okay, well, thank you for everybody, and with that, we've got one under the belt for 2023. Meeting's adjourned.
Good evening.